Hello, everyone. This is Jim Ogozinski with your weekly lecture video. So, in this week's lecture video, we're going to discuss the idea of the research paper or the research essay. Ballinger challenges us to rethink the genre of the research paper so that we can, in many ways, open up a wider variety of topics for our semester-long research and writing project. All right. So we have to really look at a couple little definitions here. I use the words research essay and research paper synonymously. The other side of the coin here is what I would refer to as a research report. Okay. So recognizing the difference between reporting and exploring a question or making an argument is really two different things. The research paper, in some ways, many students believe that this is just finding a bunch of sources, presenting the information, regurgitating that information into a research paper, following the conventions, and it's basically what everybody's been taught to do. So what I want you to do this semester, and especially in the next unit with the introduction and also the chapter 1 in looking at a topic, is for you to just kind of rethink your idea of what a research essay would be. All right. So I want to cover a few of the points that everybody talked about in exercise 1 for the introduction. And maybe this might add a little context here for you in challenging or rethinking the research essay. Many of you chose to write about knowing your thesis. Some of you were on the fence. Maybe I should know my thesis. Some of you wrote about how this was hard and fast, like you have to have a thesis or otherwise you just can't write. And the idea behind knowing your thesis is, yes, you do have to have some sort of an idea of what a thesis might be, what you're trying to claim, what you're trying to research. But oftentimes, developing that thesis or looking for that perfect thesis before you start writing is really counterproductive, because you'll be more fixated on the thesis, and it might in many ways stunt your research and growth as a writer for that particular topic because it's so limited. Yes, I agree that sometimes it can be can be that clear roadmap, but also it might restrict your thinking. So should you have some sort of a framework of a thesis? Of course. Have some idea so you can set out on your journey in discovering and researching your topic. That's always important. So you want to keep in mind that your thesis will evolve as your reading, researching, and writing also evolve. Also, I can't use the I thing. That's pretty much the fixed convention, is not to use I, and I really believe that a lot of students have that really just drilled into their writing process. Using I or becoming a narrator, and this is where you might want to take a look at page 9, where in the introduction, where Ballinger talks about a narrator. We are always narrators, no matter what we are writing. We're writing to report, we're writing to discover, we're writing to argue, we're writing to explore. We are always a narrator. The idea here is, and I think a lot of people will confuse being a narrator with writing the personal essay and writing in that first person. Yes, it's okay here and there to use first person when you're writing an academic genre. The problem is that students oftentimes have a tendency to overuse that, and that becomes difficult, and that's where the instructors place that ban on that. Use experience and observation. Some people said yes, some people, more so people, said no, you can't because it's not fact. But yes, why not use your life experiences and your observations as academic evidence, especially if you have a vested interest in the research topic that you're writing about. I have many students who choose to write their topics about mental health or having ADHD and medications, something that they struggle with on a day-to-day basis. Why would you not be able to use your observations and your experiences? So with that being said, you have to keep an open mind and a mindset about what you can use and what you can't use in writing a research essay. Should you go on and write a narrative about your experience? No. But certainly using your experience as academic evidence is very important. Always there's a difference between facts and opinions, right? Opinions oftentimes are attached to that emotional judgment that we hold dear to us. But sometimes opinions are formed by hard facts and knowledge. So there's a fine line sometimes between those emotional opinions and those and that knowledge that's grounded in fact that you want to communicate, right? A lot of people decided that textbooks, okay, actually quite a few people mentioned that what you read in textbooks are true, and I got to tell you that's just about absolutely false. Many textbooks, especially history textbooks, seek to rewrite the narrative on history, depending upon a specific agenda. So you want to be careful and always believing what you do read. Facts are facts, whether they are facts determined in the scientific field or in the humanities field. A fact is a fact. Observations through field work can, in many ways, offer just as much validation and evidence as any empirical data. So remember, everyone is a narrator, all right? How you go about telling your story and how you go about writing a research paper is dependent largely on the topic you choose. And in many ways, as we move into exercise 2, I want you to think about how Ballinger talks about the types of evidence or the sources of information. Memory and experience, observation, reading, which is like your secondary source information, and also even interview from experts or people that might have experienced exactly what you're writing about are all sources of information that we can use in writing a research essay. So keep all of this in mind when you begin, like I said, exercise 2, and you start reading Theories of Intelligence and work through that particular activity. All right, that's about all for the lecture video this week. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Good luck. Stay safe out there.